The weight of a secret can be heavier than any mountain. For me, that secret was a choice I made in a small, sterile room, a choice that echoed with a silence so profound it felt like the end of the world. My name is Elara, and this is my story. It started on what felt like the darkest day of my life. I was young, scared, and convinced I was doing the only thing I could. I walked out of that clinic feeling hollow, a ghost in my own skin. The physical pain was sharp, but the ache in my soul was a gaping wound. Over the next few days, a strange fatigue settled over me, a weariness that went bone deep. My friends said I looked pale, but I just brushed it off. Then came the fever, climbing higher and higher, a fire I couldn't put out. The world started to blur at the edges, colors and sounds melting into a confusing haze. I remember collapsing, the floor rushing up to meet me, and then nothing, utter, complete blackness. It wasn't sleep. It was an absence, a void so total it consumed everything. I was gone, and then light. Not a harsh, blinding light, but a warm, gentle radiance that felt like coming home. It pulsed with a love so pure, so unconditional. It shattered every wall I had ever built around my heart. In the center of this glorious light stood a figure. I knew instantly who it was. His eyes held the sorrow of the universe, yet they shone with an infinite compassion that saw right through me, past the fear, past the mistake, to the very core of my being. It was Jesus. He didn't speak with his mouth, but his thoughts poured into me like a river of grace. I felt him see the decision I'd made, the life that was lost. I braced myself for judgment, for the condemnation I knew I deserved, but it never came. Instead, I was enveloped in a wave of forgiveness so powerful, it washed away every stain of guilt and shame. I saw my life, my pain, my confusion, all from his perspective. He showed me the child, not as a mistake, but as a precious soul, now safe and whole in his arms. The grief was still there, but now it was mingled with a strange and beautiful peace. He wasn't angry. He was heartbroken, but for me, for the pain I had carried alone. He reached out his hand, and as his fingers brushed against mine, the light intensified. I felt a jolt like lightning and life all at once, surging through me. A voice, clearer than any I'd ever heard, resonated through the light, through my very soul. It wasn't a command of anger, but a whisper of new beginnings. Go and sin no more. It wasn't a condemnation of my past, but a commission for my future, a promise of a second chance. My eyes fluttered open. The first thing I saw was the stark white ceiling of a hospital room, the rhythmic beeping of a machine beside me. My mother was slumped in a chair, her face etched with worry, tear tracks on her cheeks. She gasped when she saw my eyes were open. The doctors rushed in, their faces a mixture of shock and disbelief. They called it a medical miracle. They couldn't explain how I had come back after my heart had stopped, but I knew. I had been given a gift beyond all understanding. Going home was strange. The world looked the same, but I was completely different. The emptiness inside me was gone, replaced by a fire, a purpose I had never known. The secret that had almost destroyed me was no longer a source of shame, but a testimony to a grace that can reach into the deepest darkness and pull you into the light. My old life, with its parties and fleeting pleasures, felt like a distant dream. I found myself drawn to church, not out of obligation, but out of a desperate desire to be closer to the one who had given me back my life. The Bible, which had once been a book of confusing rules, became a love letter. Every word seemed to leap off the page, speaking directly to my heart. I prayed not just with words, but with my whole being. Conversations with the Savior who knew me better than I knew myself. My family and friends saw the change. They saw the joy that had replaced my anxiety, the peace that had settled where turmoil once reigned. Some didn't understand, but they couldn't deny the transformation. I knew I couldn't keep this story to myself. That gentle whisper, "Go and sin no more," echoed in my heart. It wasn't just about avoiding past mistakes. It was about walking in a new direction. I enrolled in a counseling program focusing on helping young women who found themselves in the same desperate situation I had been in. The first time I sat across from a scared, tearful young woman, I didn't see a sinner. I saw myself, and I was able to look her in the eye and tell her with absolute certainty that there is hope, that there is forgiveness, that no choice has to be the final chapter of her story. I shared my testimony, the story of my death and rebirth, not to frighten or condemn, but to offer a glimpse of the radical, life-altering love of Jesus Christ. Every day, I have the privilege of being a lifeline, of speaking peace into storms of fear and confusion. I guide women to resources, to support systems, to the truth that they are loved beyond measure. My life is not my own anymore. It is a testament to the fact that even from the ashes of our greatest failures, God can resurrect a new and beautiful purpose. He didn't just save my life. He gave me a new one, filled with a meaning I never could have imagined. And I will spend the rest of my days sharing the hope that was so freely given to me. Thanks for listening.